Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt with laryngitis. The good news is Doug Lesmerises is here to help me get through the end of the week. Doug is the co-host of the Bill and Doug Show, which you can get on Substack. It's, I think, the best podcast available on college football. I love their written updates as well, but I'm a Buckeye fan. They cover all the sport, though. Doug, you can hear my voice, so you got a lot of runway on the Friday football forecast, man. You got 9 minutes to fill because I can't help it.
Yeah. Oh man, you're a grinder, Hugh. You're like a football player out there. Whatever it takes, you're finding a way to get through. All right, let's start with a couple big college games that I know will interest you, Hugh. One is, and this is an obvious one, 7:30 on Saturday night. We have number 5 Georgia hosting number 10 Texas. Now, these are two great SEC teams. Texas is new to the SEC. They played twice last year. Once in Austin, a Texas home game. Once in the SEC championship game. Georgia won both. So now Georgia's hosting Texas. Texas needs this. Rough start to the year. Arch Manning playing much better the last 2 weeks. So this is a big one. Top 10 matchup. Georgia versus Texas. But I got a better Ohio thing for you, Hugh. This is noon. This is noon. Notre Dame at Pitt. This is two 7-2 teams, Hugh. Notre Dame, if they keep winning, will make the college football playoff. Notre Dame lost its first 2 games. They're going to have to win their last 10 to make the playoff. They're in pretty good shape to do that. I think they're playing really well. I think as long as they make the playoff, they have as much of a chance to challenge Ohio State as anybody out there, Hugh. But there's an Ohio kid standing in their way. One of the great stories in college football this year, Pitt was 2-2 to start the year. And they switched to a true freshman quarterback who is throwing for 300 yards per game. Pitt is 5-0 since he took over as the starter. His name is Mason Heinchel. He's from the Toledo area in Ohio. Under-recruited kid, has a chip on his shoulder, has been playing awesome. If Pitt has a chance to spring the upset, great Pitt defense, but it's going to really rely on this Ohio kid at quarterback who's been playing great.
Okay, I got 2 questions for you that you can take in reverse order. First, the kid from Ohio, did anyone recruit him from the Buckeyes, or did they take a miss on him? And then Georgia, Texas, at the beginning of the year, you also said this about Notre Dame. You said Notre Dame could make it to the playoffs with their 2 losses. You and Bill had not given up on them. But at the beginning of the year, Arch looked terrible. Does he look draftable now, or does he have to come back?
Yeah, he's probably coming back, and I know you're asking that question with the Browns in mind. I think that probably, right, that Manning family, Peyton Manning stayed an extra year in college. I think a lot of people thought he would stay to be a second-year starter anyway. He has thrown for 300 yards the last 2 times out. It is getting better, but I would be surprised if he goes. It seems to most people think that Arch Manning will stay at Texas. And then Mason Heinchel, no, he was so far under the radar, Hugh. He's just not a kid that Ohio State would take a look at. Ohio State got the best quarterback in the state of Ohio, Tavian St. Clair, who is a true freshman right now, will probably start for Ohio State down the line. But don't you love these kids, right, off the radar? They get a chance. You never thought they were going to start a true freshman quarterback, and here he's doing it. I'm really excited to see Pitt versus Notre Dame at noon on Saturday.
I am too. Now, I do want to ask you, you wrote the book on recruiting at Ohio State. You actually wrote the book on it, The Road to Columbus, right? How do they figure out when a kid in high school is going to grow 2 inches and add 30 pounds? What in the world can they look for to guess that?
Yeah, it is. You look for traits, right? Every coach looks for traits. Do you have a quick release? Do you have great vision? Do you have great touch? Do you have great accuracy? Can you really run? Are you really physical? But you get those outliers, Hugh, where all of a sudden a guy like you can look at somebody's frame. You get your strength coach to look at somebody's frame and say, oh, I think that guy can put on 25 pounds of muscle. No problem. But there's always outliers, especially at quarterback, Hugh. It is an imperfect science. What makes it fun. Now, if you're the Cleveland Browns, it doesn't make it fun because you think, hey, we'll get a high draft pick and take a quarterback. But it happens at every level, Hugh, that you think you know. Julian Sand at Ohio State right now, who's the Heisman favorite, he was the top-ranked quarterback recruit in the country. So sometimes it's obvious. Everybody sees it. A guy like Mason Heinchel, not many people saw it, and he's proven everybody wrong.
And where was C.J. Stroud in that? If I recall, he was missed until late in his senior year, right?
Late. Ohio State had another quarterback in that recruiting class. He had a last-minute invite to a very high-profile recruiting camp. Somebody else had to drop out. They had to grab somebody to fill in. C.J. Stroud was a local guy. As soon as he got to the camp, all the Ohio State receivers there were like, oh, my gosh. We got to call Ryan Day. This is the guy. And he's a number 2 pick in the draft, you. Out of that they didn't think he was good enough at that level, he got a shot. He took advantage of it.
You know, I'm already looking at mock drafts, Doug, and there are 3 QBs in the first round. Doesn't matter where they go, and I don't care. I just see how many are in the first round. And you've talked about them, Oregon, Indiana, and Alabama. And who knows? It's always a crapshoot. But I think back in the days of Cleveland.com, you did a program that you got to draft the best quarterback as high as you can if you're like the Browns, because it makes you build the offense. I remember that program so clearly. You have to do it.
It's really hard, Hugh, because you look at, for instance, a guy like Joe Thomas, who is an all-time great Brown. He's one of the best left tackles in NFL history. He was a Brown for a decade. It didn't help him win. Myles Garrett right now is still arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. He's on a Hall of Fame track. Myles Garrett could not be better at his position. It's not helping him win. It's not his fault, but the quarterback is so central to what you do. You do need other great players, but no matter how great your other players are, if you don't have the quarterback, Hugh, you're not going to win at the highest level, and that's been the Browns' problem. So whether it's Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, Dante Moore from Oregon, Ty Simpson from Alabama, I don't think there's like a sure thing like when Joe Burrow came out and the Bengals drafted him. Everybody knew he was going to be great. There maybe isn't a sure thing for the Browns, but you have to keep trying until you get it right. You can't ever give up until you know you have a franchise quarterback.
All right, 30 seconds. NFL game, got any?
Seattle at the Rams. They're both 7-2. Seattle's a great story, Hugh. Maybe you remember, 2021, there was a first-year defensive coordinator at the University of Michigan. His name was Mike McDonald. He was so good. Yeah. He went to the Ravens. He was their defensive coordinator for 2 years. He's the second-year head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. He was 10-7 last year. They're 7-2 right now. This is a great game. Seattle, surprise Super Bowl contender.
Doug Lesmerises from the Bill and Doug Show. Go find him on Substack. You will thank me. The best college football, a little bit of NFL, but the best college football podcast and Substack out there. The Bill and Doug Show, OSU.substack.com. Come right back.